Hey guys, hope you're all well and welcome to another episode. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today. We've picked up a new game, War of Rights. It's on sale at the moment, about £17 there and thereabouts till the 3rd of February, so it'll be 2-3 days for when this video goes live. But what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing a little tips and tricks kind of thing. I've only owned the game for about 3 days, 2-3 days, and I've played about, I don't know, 15-20 hours already, something like that. Not a lot, but enough to kind of get to grips with the game. I'm just going to discuss a few little things about what's important in the game, and things like that. So yeah, we're just going to do a few little tips and tricks on my end. I'm sure lots of them have been done before. You're probably going to see some that that I recommend that maybe somebody else has done as well. I know I'm a little late to the party. The game's been out a while, but this is just coming from my perspective as a new person in the game. And so yeah, anyways, let's get on and crack straight into this video, guys. So guys, like I said in the intro, this is a tips and tricks video from a kind of new person's perspective, and it would be for newbies. A lot of experienced players are obviously not going to pay attention to this video. Cool. Well, maybe you are, I don't know. Probably not, but it's just kind of like from what I've learned in the last few days of playing this game. For the record, absolutely amazing game, 100% recommend it. Like I said, it is currently on sale at Steam at the moment for about £17. I guess it's going to be about $17 as well. I'm not 100% sure. That is up to the 3rd of February, so be sure to definitely get that if you haven't already. But basically, yeah, let's move into the first sort of tip. Now, the first tip is officers. When an officer gives an order, 100% follow it, please, if you can, because it's sort of frustrating watching quite a few people just run off into the distance and not do what an officer says. Now, obviously, if you're out of line, it is my understanding that you lose 5 tickets, I think it is, when you get killed. I'm not 100% sure on that, don't quote me on it, and if that is wrong, please let me know. But if you're in line, it would only count as 1, or in formation. So, if an officer does say, does tell you to do something, do it, because it's so important in a game like this. This is not about personal kind of like KD ratios or anything like that. This is more about objective based games, and it definitely tries to discourage people from kind of just running off and doing their own thing, and tries to encourage a lot more sort of teamwork gameplay. Now obviously some officers don't know what they're doing. I have experienced it on the exact day that we've been playing this game, or me recording this video, sorry. And it can be a bit frustrating, especially when you're asking them for orders and they don't really know what they're doing. But most of the time, an officer will know what they're doing, sort of 8-9 times out of 10. So yeah, if please try and follow their orders as best as possible. It's very important to winning the game as well, and it also helps with the immersion as well, especially when you're doing volley fires and things like that. But yeah, moving on to the next point. If an officer says full kit, it basically means slapping on your bayonet. So you do that. It would help if I was in the game. So you slap on your bayonet first, and then you get your reload in. Now, a lot of the times they will ask you to just put the bayonet on early and then rush to a point and reload at that point. But sometimes they will allow you to reload at spawn, so definitely do that. So when you get like the full kit mode, it basically means putting everything on the bayonet, getting everything ready for the battle ahead. So you reload, you ram that down into the chamber there. It's very realistic. I love this game so much, I really do. And but yeah, once you've done that, he'll probably then give you orders to go off somewhere. So like I say, follow his orders, go where he tells you to go. Try and stay in companies as well, because a lot of people tend to mix the companies up a lot. And I've seen a lot of flags, sort of like flag bearers, all sort of following one company when they should be separated. You know what I mean? You should have one flag with one company and another one with another one, as an example. Now an officer may tell you to sort of shift right, which will basically just mean sprint to the right. And then once you have done that, he will probably put a line up for you to for formation line. You reach the line and then you wait for your next orders, which will most likely be aim and fire, and then shift left is the exact same thing basically. Just shift to the left and then you wait for the next orders, which again will probably be take aim and fire. They might ask you to independent fire, which basically means everyone can just fire and reload in their own time, or they may do volley fire, where all of you reload and then take aim together and then fire. And I hit the target. So speaking of taking aim and firing, there's a good chance that you will be at a position. So say, like, for instance, if I run down here right now, there's sort of like a fence line ahead of me. There is a good chance that you will be behind a fence, or you'll be in line anyway taking independent firing or volley firing. you may be asked to just kind of keep reloading, keep the pressure on, keep firing. But sometimes a lot of officers tend to sort of like, you go forward, you take your shot, you retreat, and then you reload back here. So it'd be like, you know, fire and sort of, not fire in advance as such, but you sort of fire, back off, reload in a bit of cover. Obviously in this there isn't any cover, but we are just in a sort of training scenario here. And then you would reload, and then what you do then after reloading is just charge straight back to the line and fire, and then just repeat. And so yeah, again, it comes down to the whole officer order sort of thing. Now with the bullet drop, there isn't very much bullet drop at all. So if we now advance playing that sort of role, that sort of scenario that I just said, there isn't really a lot of bullet drop. So say if you're aiming into that top line over there, there might be a bit of sway as well with the gun, because obviously when you've sort of got the bayonet, there is a bit of sway. It sort of goes down a little bit. But there isn't, like I said, there isn't a lot of bullet drop. So what you can do is you can actually aim quite lowish. So you can sort of go, like if I hit the target here. So there we go, I managed to hit that target there. But if you can sort of like aim low, you don't have to aim too high, unless of course the target is very far away. But the bullet drop is very sort of low. It doesn't sort of like loop and arc. It does go quite straight, which is quite good. So that means you can kind of cut the grass, or, you know, that sort of thing. You don't have to kind of aim over the heads or anything like that for the bullet to drop. You just aim pretty much directly at them. Now what I tend to do, and they may advise you on this in-game as well, is when you see a flag bearer, you can kind of aim for the sort of flag or the height of the flag when you see it, and then it may sort of like get the shot in. Basically, you might be able to get some kills doing that. But yeah, generally speaking, you don't have to aim too high. But I tend to aim at the flags, to be fair, the flag bearers mainly. Because sometimes it's very difficult to see sort of silhouettes on the horizon. So if you can see a flag, you know roughly where they are, and then you can cut the grass, and basically that just means aiming nice and sort of low with the grass line, and therefore you should get your kills in. So guys, I guess the next tip is don't crouch unless an officer has said so, basically. It takes a lot longer to reload when crouched, and also if you're a flag bearer, don't crouch as well, because it basically takes people a lot longer to spawn in. You want people spawning in as quick as you can, and you want to be reloading and firing as quick as you can. Obviously in this server right now it doesn't particularly matter, because there's, you know, this is a training server, and yes, crouching does stabilize the shot a lot more. It makes it a lot easier to aim. But yeah, in my opinion, unless an officer gives you an order to crouch, don't crouch and reload. Always stand and reload. And like I said with the flag bearer, just don't crouch at all. Basically always stand up and keep on the move as a flag bearer as well. Okay guys, so one of my next tips is, I don't know why I'm doing that. So one of my next tips is, I like to keep the gun down when I'm moving across the battlefield. Now unless an officer has specifically told me to put it on my shoulder, or at the ready or what have you, I like to have the gun down ready so it can react a little bit quicker. Well, I think it's a little bit quicker anyway. I'm not 100% sure if it is, but it feels quicker. So as long as you're at the double quick, because you can move double quick with the gun down as well as on your shoulder, I feel like you can move and react a little bit quicker with the gun down, just in case you have to suddenly engage in melee, or you suddenly have to get that shot off really quickly. Yeah, I think having the gun down is a lot better, as opposed to maybe having it at the ready, and then it kind of maybe just feels like a little bit slower as he's kind of bringing that shoulder around. So I think when you've got the gun down at melee mode, which is the V button, if nobody knows that already, I think it's just a little bit quicker to get that up, take the shot, and then you can get in and do your melee attack. So yeah, I think definitely keeping the gun down when moving across the battlefield, unless told otherwise, is definitely a good idea. Alright guys, so one of the last tips that I can really think of now is that when you're getting into sort of like a melee combat situation, they will ask you to full on sprint. You don't want to be quick timing, you don't want to be double timing here. You want to be full on sprinting into your enemy target. But what a lot of people tend to do is they'll get to their target like so, and then they'll stab. They'll stab now. So what you want to do, really, from my experience so far, it kind of sounds really condescending, I know, and a lot of people are probably going to be looking at this video and thinking, what the hell is this guy going on about? But you kind of want to be sprinting, and then just before you get to it, then stab. So as you're sort of lunging into it, you're going to get that kill. Also, I guess another tip to add to this, T is your absolutely best friend. Honestly, you push T and it will tell you who your friendly is around you. What a lot of people tend to do is not push T, and they'll just stab wildly at everything and anything. They'll just see movement and they'll be swinging, stabbing, and doing all that kind of bad stuff of killing friendlies essentially. So yeah, so like I said, just one, then stab just before you get there, boom. There. But what a lot of people tend to do is get to their target and then they end up dying. So yeah, that's about it really for tip wise that I can think of right now. So guys, that's about it for this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Now I understand that you've probably heard a lot of these tips and tricks before in previous videos, and I'm obviously very late to the party, but it was just the fact that I bought the game, I'm new to it, and this video is sort of catered around what I've experienced so far in the game, and maybe I can just help out, even if it's just one new person that's playing the game and they watch this video, you know, just to give them a little bit of a guide. Maybe we'll do another tips and tricks, or maybe we'll do some more advanced tips, you know, as we're kind of you know, progressing through the game and we're playing it, you know, after hundreds of hours, maybe 1,000 hours or something like that. You know, once we've kind of got more advanced in the game, we'll do some more videos. I've not done artillery yet. I don't know how to do artillery, so that might be quite an interesting one to do. Like I say, I guess there's already a lot of videos out there, but you know, everyone has their own channel, everyone has their own ideas of what they want to do. So yeah guys, anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you in the next one.